Cavities are not a sugar problem. There's enough science to see that the underlying problem in a mouth with cavities or gum disease is a bacterial problem. Yes, it may be compounded and aggravated by sugar consumption, but only to a small and controllable degree. This bacterial modification strategy was taught to me by a real-world dentist over 55 years ago, and I have passed it along to thousands and thousands of people. And today I want to share it with you. Why do we tell kids they can't eat candies and sugar? I'm not here to tell you sugar is good, but I'm here to tell you the truth about sugar and teeth. Sugar is a part of the cavity problem, but it is not the problem. Ask a 10-year-old how to avoid cavities, and they will likely give you the standard advice. Stop candies, brush and floss, go to your dentist twice a year. Does this work? Let's check the statistics. No, it doesn't. So let's talk about this. But also let's consider what my grandkids say is the key to avoiding cavities. And I have asked them. The young ones say Xylitol, and the teens say mouth resting, plus my complete mouth care system. And don't eat and drink after using it. Their results? Perfect teeth. So let's figure out why my advice works and why my family is not terrified of sugar, ice cream, or healthy desserts in moderation. In this video, I'll share with you the easiest and most delicious way to enjoy meals and all kinds of foods with advice you can use every day to ensure you enjoy oral health. It'll be my pleasure to share how my family enjoys eating and drinking lots of favorite foods, even fun sugary desserts, and some occasional Halloween candies, yet they never get a cavity. No, I'm not presenting sensational news. And I know some people will say it's genetic, but it's not. If you want all of the science, then you may enjoy the new 2025 second edition of my book, Kiss Your Dentist Goodbye. You see, there's enough science to see that the underlying problem in a mouth with cavities or gum disease is a bacterial problem. Yes, it may be compounded and aggravated by sugar consumption, but only to a small and controllable degree. I am sure some dogmatic proponents of the brush and floss philosophy or the sugar causes cavities camp will argue with me on this. But I believe it is easier and more effective to teach kids about mouth bacteria and combine this with a spot of common sense to effectively help them avoid dental disease and enjoy a healthy, cavity-free mouth for life. This bacterial modification strategy was taught to me by a real-world dentist over 55 years ago, and I have passed it along to thousands and thousands of people. And today I want to share it with you. Why do we tell kids they can't eat candies and sugar? I'm not here to tell you sugar is good, but I'm here to tell you the truth about sugar and teeth. Sugar is a part of the cavity problem, but it is not the problem. If we don't tell people the truth, then they will be as confused as most people in America are as to why they get cavities. They seem to never stop, and one cavity leads to the next, and then more and more for the rest of their lives. I know people who gave up eating all sugar, yet they continue to need fillings and more fillings, often blaming themselves or getting depressed because they feel they have no control. If we look at the truth and how cavities actually form, then we can make decisions and changes and add solutions to the problem and achieve success at any stage instead of failure. When people understand why cavities form, it is easier for them to understand why early childhood is the greatest, best time to start prevention, and how this will set up a mouth to be in a state of balance that will protect and prevent cavities for life. Now I want to tell you a story, because as a new graduated dentist, I apprenticed in a practice in Switzerland, and then I operated my own office in the United Kingdom. Over those years, I had figured out clearly which habits I believed were essential for oral health, and I had studied to become a pediatric specialist here in America at the University of Rochester, working with researchers that had been involved in many of those xylitol studies. When I had completed my specialty, an odd situation changed the laws of licensure for foreign dentists in New York. Suddenly, I wasn't certain about my future, and with hungry kids to feed, I decided to get another job until my professional status and future career became clear. The end of my story is a great one, and I soon practiced dentistry again, but with a very special opportunity. And that's certainly another story I can tell you in a future video if you're interested. But back to this moment when I needed to work, and I was fighting with the situation I was in. The summary of this story is I opened up a coffee shop called Creme de la Creme, close to the university in Rochester, New York. It was the only cappuccino coffee shop in town, some years before Starbucks came to Rochester. Remember how I'd been a dentist in Switzerland. This experience had provided me with a vision for my coffee shop. It was a cool place, and guests were greeted by a long dessert case filled with all kinds of pastries and desserts, copies of the ones I had enjoyed while living in Switzerland. There was chocolate truffle tort, Viennese meringue, linzer tart, creme brulee, and cream puff swans. Oh, and the best carrot cake ever. At least that's what customers told me. The fact is, here I was, a trained dentist, cutting desserts and brewing coffee day and night. The good news was that the cafe quickly developed a reputation and was very busy. Guests of all kinds came for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I got to know a lot of them very well. As we chatted about me and my dental career, several things became clear. I was teaching my restaurant staff what they needed to know to avoid cavities in this high-risk environment. Have you ever thought why bakers so often have bad teeth? It's because they literally inhale powdered sugar and have the opportunity to nibble cookies all day long. I noticed the waiters were in trouble too, drinking coffee, snacking on goodies, and then, before going to wait on the tables, they would chew up a couple of peppermint Altoid breath mints. "What are you doing?" was my first question. You acidify your mouth with coffee or soda, then eat a cookie, and complete the disaster about to happen in your mouth by adding a breath mint, basically a sugar bomb, to wreck your teeth. I asked them, "Why don't you end your snack with xylitol?" That was my question. Xylitol is not well known today, but back then it was unheard of. They had no idea what I was talking about. Even the dental office staff who frequented our restaurant had never heard of xylitol. And I remember one of the hygienists in the group telling my waiters that diet soda was perfectly safe for teeth. She drank it at night because there was no sugar in it. Well, before I talk about acidity versus sugar as a cavity-causing problem, let me tell you the end of the coffee shop's story. I found a friend of mine with a candy company, and he began to make me xylitol mints, which I then dispensed from a gumball machine at the back of the restaurant. Cash was the currency back then, so the waiters had aprons full of change. They would put a quarter in the gumball machine and dispense a 2-ounce portion cup full of xylitol mints, flavored to taste like their peppermint Altoids. They kept these mints on a little shelf at the back of the restaurant and learned to eat them to protect their teeth from sugar and acidity at the end of every snack break. It was the waiters who called these mints Z for xylitol and Ellie for me with an S, Ellie's, Zellies. This was how my xylitol mints were born, and the waiters loved them, and they noticed the amazing results from small changes they made. Those with a low interest in their oral health would eat them instead of cleaning their teeth at night, and it seemed to work. The motivated staff began to follow my complete mouth care system and noticed incredible improvements in their oral health. Cavities reversed and went away. Busboys who could not afford the periodontal treatments they'd been recommended just used my system and were later cleared with a clean evaluation from the dentist. Their gum problems had vanished. The staff were elated. Even those who had whitened their teeth recognized the damage it was causing and trusted me enough to use the system, and their teeth sparkled. So how does xylitol work? Well, the problem in the mouth is when it's populated with harmful, cavity-forming, plaque-forming bacteria. These harmful bacteria feed on sugars of all kinds, which includes the sugars in carbohydrate foods, and produce acids. Acids from foods and drinks, even the ones that are not sugary, can dissolve minerals from teeth and make them more susceptible to disease. Plus, harmful bacteria love to grow and multiply in an acidic environment. All these acids, from whatever source, will dissolve enamel, and it can take up to an hour for this acidity in the mouth to subside, following a plaque-forming sugary feeding. So if you eat some cookie and you have plaque in your mouth, the plaque will continue to multiply and consume the sugar and create acids for some time. Measuring pH shows that in a normal mouth, it can take 40 to 60 minutes for saliva to return to a dentally safe pH. This means that our teeth are at risk for mineral loss every time we eat or drink, snack or sip, and then it may stay acidic for an extra hour every time. Adding up all these hours can show you the duration of acidity in your mouth. The longer the acidity is allowed to remain, the more plaque will form and the more damage will occur. Now, what happens when you end the meal with xylitol? If you just use xylitol once a day, probably nothing positive will happen. Xylitol needs to be consumed in a small amount, like 2 to 4 mints at the end of a meal, 5 times a day. A total of 10 mints a day is a nice amount to feed the plaque bacteria at the end of every meal. Plaque bacteria cannot use xylitol, remember. They cannot grow and multiply. They are unable to produce acids, and they are unable to create the sticky filaments that attach them to your tooth surface. This is how xylitol reduces acid production in the mouth and makes plaque slippery and easier to brush or rinse away. In addition, xylitol feeds the protective good bacteria in the mouth, and they will cover the teeth and work to stop more plaque from becoming attached. Xylitol is pretty incredible if you want to eliminate plaque, and progressively, when used in this way, plaque is virtually eliminated. Now, at this stage, your teeth may still be exposed to acids after eating. Not always, but in vinegar, citrus fruits, things like lemonade or coffee, of course. So even if plaque has disappeared, it is still smart to end every meal with xylitol or some kind of tooth protective food. It was in Switzerland that I learned about the selection of tooth protective foods to end meals safely, and also learned about xylitol. Whole milk, unsweetened dairy like whipped cream, is safe for teeth. Dark chocolate, raspberries, strawberries, cheeses of various kinds. The dangers come from constantly grazing and sipping. And even if you end with tooth protective foods and xylitol, this may not be enough in a dry mouth or for somebody with acidic saliva. The key then is to ensure that you allow your mouth time to rest after the xylitol. We provide an opportunity for xylitol to work as a prebiotic and nurture protective mouth bacteria. Also, we have to consider foods that are sticky, as they can lodge around teeth and cause damage. Dried fruits and energy bars made from dried fruits can be this kind of problem. My suggestion, if you tend to eat sticky foods or find bits of food in your mouth after eating, is consider using a xylitol chewing gum. Not to chew and chew, but just to help pick up and clean pieces of retained food from your teeth. Chew 100% xylitol gum for 2 to 10 minutes maximum, and then spit it out. Then mouth rest for 1 to 2 hours and allow your teeth time to heal. My complete mouth care system plays into this entire routine, actually helping teeth to defend themselves from plaque by making the tooth stronger, smoother, and more acid resistant. Last thing at night is a non-negotiable time to clean your teeth, and then avoid any more late night snacks, drinks, even water. Rely on xylitol if you feel thirsty. Just a couple of mints in your mouth before sleeping. Now I'm going to talk about how to eat candies at times like Easter and Halloween. Everything I do, my videos, my books, everything, is to share the science of mouth health and practical ways that everyone can enjoy life but avoid unnecessary dental treatments. Lots of this science is detailed, and you may like to read about it or listen to it in the new 2025 edition of my book, Kiss Your Dentist Goodbye. The first part of this book explains how teeth and gums repair and how cavities can heal. The second part of the book details how to use the products I recommend and how to boost results with diet and nutrition to have the healthiest mouth ever. It is the science of how to use this system mixed together in one place. The audio version is now available on Amazon, and audible. I'll put it in a link below. Now back to the main topic of cavities and how my family is able to enjoy every kind of food just by following a few basic rules of the game. Today, both children and adults in America have cavities, and in many people's mouths, these can become a huge problem and a big expense, not to mention pain and suffering. The advice that most people are given is not working. The problem is that people with cavities are blamed for not flossing enough, or they don't brush, or it was their diet or genetic. Let me tell you how my family is able to eat and drink whatever they like, yet we're not terrified of a little sugar, ice cream, or healthy desserts. It's because we know how to end a meal the easiest and most delicious way, with xylitol or a tooth-protective food. Keep your meals to meal times. And after the xylitol, try not to eat or drink, not to snack more, not to sip anything, no coffee, water, anything for 1 to 2 hours. This allows you to eat any food you want during the meal, to drink any drink you want at this mealtime. And by finishing with a tooth-protective food and some xylitol, you will not put your teeth at risk for cavities. The xylitol will help and not harm your teeth. If you add this to the routine of cleaning your teeth with my complete mouth care system, prepare to be amazed at the results. With these small changes in habits and this system, you may be able to rebuild your teeth and even reverse some cavities. This approach allows us to stop worrying about eating a slice of cake or having a drink or lemonade. Within the mealtime, it will not damage your teeth. Just remember to end the meal with a tooth-protective food and some xylitol. So this is how my family enjoys eating and drinking their favorite foods, even fun sugary desserts. It's also the way we deal with high-sugar moments like Easter or Halloween. Eat a reasonable number of those candies, but then be prepared to completely stop and end with xylitol, some xylitol mints or gum, followed by mouth resting for 1 to 2 hours. You'll discover this is such a great strategy, and it will help you and your family to enjoy life and never get another cavity. My life's work has always been to help people enjoy a healthy mouth and avoid cavities with simple, at-home strategies. My hope is that my videos are helpful to you, and if so, please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next one. Together, I believe that we are making a difference and helping to open the eyes of many dentists. Some are even showing an interest in learning more about xylitol for prevention of dental disease. Now, if you want to learn more in more depth and have more help to take control of your oral health, I invite you to join my Gum and Tooth Rebuild program at learn.drellie.com. This is a new program that my team has helped me create to offer all kinds of personalized benefits. You'll get a lifetime access to the full program and a year of access to the AI assistant that my team and I built specifically to answer the more routine questions. My strategies have helped hundreds of thousands of people over the last 40 years, and I would love to help you too. Until next time, let's keep you and your teeth healthy and happy.